we doing, boys and girls? Good morning. Welcome, welcome. Hope we're all doing well. Keeping things chill this morning. I've been getting some rares killed. I'm about to start shopping for some deals, some goodies, anything of interest. I need to do a little bit of shopping first thing today. See if we can find any goodies, and then we'll go from there. I want to jump into remixing a little bit. I think today might be the last day of remix, so I'm kind of keen to have another little look at that. But other than that, we're keeping it chill today. It's a Tuesday, reset day tomorrow. I'm not actually so convinced that there's a huge amount to do before reset tomorrow, which is nice. I can live with that. Yeah, the puppy is snoring right now, so we're safe for a little while. We'll see how he goes. Good morning, boys and girls. Welcome, welcome. Killed some rares first thing this morning. I've started to notice that there's way less shards popping up for the Undermine now. Back in, well, last patch, there was easy 10, 15 different shards of the Undermine up all the time, so you could hop between them and kill all the rares. Now I'm noticing there's literally only a handful of them. There's really not that many that are getting spun up because of people in them. So actually finding the rares is... I'm not killing as many rares each time I do a full clear of the zone, unfortunately, but I guess we'll have to live with that. That's fine. Does mean we get it done faster, which is always nice. Shadow Weave Mask recipes. We can flip those around. For sure. Festival dress. No way that's anywhere near that sort of value. That looks like extreme levels of shenanigans, but the trend is pretty generic. Do I want to spend 10k on a festival dress, not knowing what that crack is about? Sure, why not? There's only one. What have we got here? An Angry Brewfest letter. Cancel your Brew of the Month club membership. Ha! The irony is I could actually do one of those. Feathered waistband of the quick blade. Don't know what that is. Low resale, but it's cheap. Elamir, how we doing? Welcome in. Good morning. Good morning. This is the realm that has all of the cats for sale all the time. Literally hundreds of the damn things every time. Lucky shirts aren't really that lucky anymore, and I also have a suspicion these come from a vendor. There's clearly somebody doing a realm locked thing on this realm. Sorry, a zone locked thing. Swords deck, not bothered by those. Some pets though. Never really argue too much about cheap pets. Very strategic prices based upon the DB region sale average. Very strategic prices. All right, sure, we'll have those. Send them somewhere else. Get them relisted somewhere else. Okay, so that's... I need to do a few different things this time. I need to open mailboxes. This will take out any goodies that I've recently purchased. And I also need to drop down a guild vault on one of these realms. Oh my god, why have we got multiple lost currencies popping up? What's going on here? 8 weathered ethereal crests have been added. But if this causes you to go over your limit, we adjusted the amount to bring you to the limit and not go over. Okay. Apparently I've picked up a bunch of crests somehow. Huh. So we did. Is that going to happen every time? Probably is, isn't it? Drop down a guild chest. I need to go through these dudes and put anything in the guild that's not, like, being listed on the auction house or has been recently purchased. So it can get put in my TSM groups. So pretty much anything that I've clearly purchased isn't in a TSM group. That is already grouped up. This process is going to take me a little while, like annoyingly so, but it's the only way I can keep things organized. That's already in a group. And actually, maybe anything that's not on the auction house gets to go in there as well. That way, it can be redistributed somewhere else. That's the theory. How are we doing? Derp, welcome in. Good morning, good morning. Hope you're doing well. Making all of the millions. The millions and the billions and the trillions. Flipping these random ass grey items. It's really funny. They added a whole bunch of random ass grey items in the War Within for seemingly no real reason. Quite funny. After going years and years and years of not having that sort of stuff, for them to put a bunch of random ass trash in things is quite amusing to me. Right, that needs going in there. That needs going in there. Anything that's got a purchase price next to it. Clearly something I've bought recently. Or recent-ish. Paid 16,000 gold for that? Flipping hell. Clearly getting a little bit overzealous when we purchases at times. Alright, those dudes are done. All of these items that are going in the guild bank will get organised and then redistributed to another realm somewhere at some point in the near future. Famous last words. Oh. Vaults again tomorrow. Vaults again tomorrow is going to give us another piece of hero gear. We should easily get... Oh, it'd be nice if we could get our 4-set bonus tomorrow. Do we get another catalyst charge? Oh, I have a sneaky suspicion we get another catalyst charge tomorrow, don't we? That means if I can get if I can swindle 2 pieces of hero gear that land nicely on tier set slots, there's the chance for us to get our 4-set tomorrow. So we do get another catalyst charge. Okay then, well I gotta pray to RNGesus that I get a hero piece from my map that doesn't clash with either of the 2 set pieces I've got already. And then I can take something out of the vault that fills the remaining slot. That's what we got to pray for tomorrow. That's the theory. If we can pull that one out the bag. Been barely playing WoW at the moment. Sold another 2.3 mil across all my servers when I logged in though. However, my pet string for scanning the auction house for pets is broke and I've no idea how to fix it. Oh. Is that because you've borrowed it from somebody or you've just done it so long ago you can't for the life of you remember what it was you did? This is why I write things down in notepads. That way I hopefully don't forget them. But what I do forget is where I saved the flipping file. So it's basically the same. I need to make a slightly custom pet string for searching anyway. So I might do that quite soon. I need to take the sniper string that I use relatively generically for transmog and stuff and customize it so it's more focused towards buying pets. Because my sniper scans are not pulling up many pets. That's because I think I'm looking for too much of a deal on the pets. The pet market is a little bit more competitive, meaning you very rarely get the same deep discounts like you do on transmog items. But of course, on transmog items, you kind of want that deeper discount because there is significantly less of a guarantee that you're going to be able to sell it back on. These flipping Casgrite Fisher friends, for example, there's been some shenanigans on the price of these, I can tell you that much for a fact. Woo helped me with it. I'm not a complete schmuck with TSM. And I know the basics, so I've tried what I know, but nothing seems to work. I know how it works, I just don't know why it's not working now. Oh, okay. It's probably, if I know how Woo does his thing, it quite possibly has something to do with, because you have to, Woo searches for pets manually. By manually, I mean he opens up TSM and does / battle pets, and it shows all of the battle pets, but he filters it not by DB market. He filters it by something else. He has a custom filter basically. So if he's basically just shared the way he does it with you, probably something along those lines. I also can't remember perfectly off the top of my head. Nothing there. Book of Origination. What the hell are you? Are you worth 5k? It's one of those things that it's probably actually an interesting offhand piece because it probably looks like a book, doesn't it? Advanced refrigeration unit. The irony is I reckon these probably sell 36 slot cooking bags, you know. I don't think they quite sell for 26,000 gold a piece, but I think they probably sell for more than 1,000 gold a piece, but they're also clearly crafted, aren't they? What's this Book of Origination look like? Oh, it's kind of like got green fell looky stuff to it. Oh, well, that's going to sell next expansion. Easy business. We'll have one of them. Right, let's empty the mailbox of any stuff. These lost currency mails are going to rack up, aren't they? And they're going to annoy me. Nothing I can do about them. The Eastern Kingdoms Cup is up with some new gear. Oh, they've added new gear to, have they? Oh, that's interesting. I think I completed the Eastern Kingdoms Cup back in the day when it first came round. If they've added some new stuff to it, that might be worth paying attention to. I'll have a little look at that in a minute. Right, what's going in here? Random ass enchant that I've bought at some point that apparently isn't listing. Jeepers, Enchanted Lantern, Biped Menace, Alvin the Anvil. These are all pets that are already listed, but they can just be shipped off to somewhere else. What we got here? 649 gold plated. Ooh. Ooh. 649 variations. That's money. That's money, that is. That will get listed on this realm. That's not a problem at all. Random ass bag. Random ass enchant. You go in there. Okay, it doesn't look like much is going in here. We bought those. Oh my god, 7,800 gold for those. I bought 2 of them. Spicy. There's that Book of Origination. Yeah, all of these need grouping up. Okay, next team. How we doing, Mikey? Welcome in. Welcome. I do plan on looking at some remix later today. So I think it's the final day for remix testing. The servers have still been flipping ropes though. Like they're probably once every 20 minutes I was getting a disconnect. It was really annoying. So we'll see how long we spend on it, but oh wait, hang on. This dude's missing his dinosaur. There we go. Final day for testing, sweet Jesus. Well, I mean, the little timer when you open up the PTR, I think it may be today, maybe tomorrow. It was only up for It was only meant to be up for 2 weeks, wasn't it? Even though Josh seems to not know what the hell's going on. Even I think I read in the Discord he said something along the lines of that this will be added to the next build, and then somebody mentioned that isn't it like going away tomorrow, and he said, oh yeah, next build, whether that be tomorrow or January. He didn't seem to have any clue. He's clearly not in charge of when it's going on the PTR or when it's coming off the PTR. I was looking at the USPTR forums. It's just a wall of enjoyment. Yeah, I took a little bit of a look at that. It's an absolute hate fiesta, isn't it? It's the early impressions are not favourable towards Legion Remix right now. I do think that people are, I mean, it's obviously a good thing, right? But people are fondly remembering the best bits of MOP Remix. They're clearly not remembering just how long it did actually take to get overpowered in MOP Remix. Because it wasn't a 5-minute job, I can tell you that for a fact. I have video evidence to back up the fact that it is absolutely not a 5-minute job to get OP in MOP Remix. It was 60 hours worth of bronze grinding to level your character up and get to the gear cap, where you were then doing like 5 million sustained DPS. That certainly wasn't something that happened overnight. Certainly not something that people would, be willing to push towards on a PTR within a 2-week period, for example. Can't think there's many people that have put much more time into the PTR than I did that first week. About 25 to 30 hours deep on the PTR. There are people that glitched their way to max gear on the PTR, but I don't think their feedback is overly useful, because them glitching their way there means they've had like basically no mementos or no anything else, so their characters are a bit scuffed. Gold wedding band. We want to try and flip a gold wedding band. That's the kind of RP shit that always sells. Mech Squirrel. Easy flip, 1,000 gold. Seamoth Surprise. Dragon Isles Cooking. Probably not worth the 50k in any way, shape or form, but it's definitely worth more than 1,500 gold. On a flip. Icky. We can sell Ickies all day long. Okay. We sell here. Stylish black shirt, 4,000 gold. Where's my guild chest? There's my guild chest. Always a good sign when the people responsible don't know what's going on. Well, Josh is the dev over at Blizzard that's like the lead of Legion Remix right now. And he's been really quite active in the WoW secret finding Discord of all places. Taking on feedback, answering questions and the likes. I entirely believe he's doing this off his own back, but he's also said himself that he's having to be relatively careful about what he says. And that he isn't able to in any way speak for Blizzard as a whole. You know, typical PR trained dev. It's not really a surprise, but I'd also say that it's at least nice to see, oh, a random ass gopher. Why is that not being listed on this realm? All right, well, we'll send that somewhere else. It's at least nice to see that a dev is taking the time to communicate, at least in some way, shape, or form. But he is, at the end of the day, one man. And one man does not make an army. So even though he's able to like take feedback on board and might be able to answer some questions, he's not kind of like, you know, Ian, who, even if he can't answer it himself, would find the answer and be able to then give the answer. You know what I mean? It's kind of whilst that would be nice, I don't think it's going to happen. Whoa, that's not the right place. We're damaged necklace. Icky. Enchanted lantern. Right, those lot can log off. It took a while, and all through it you had people whining about the Froggers having an advantage. Yeah, I mean, it was the best part of 60 hours of grinding in Mop Remix to get, like, fully geared. I'm very convinced that most people don't realise just how long it did actually take. Not to mention that the scaling throughout that period was kind of whack. Your leveling process, your power whilst leveling was really weird. You would kind of like you kind of got powerful, and then your power dipped down, and you were like super weak source. If this was like level 1 and this was level 70, your power graph was kind of like really weird up until level 70. But then your post 70, you were kind of clawing your way back slowly. And then once you'd gained some gear, it just went flipping like this. Like it was almost an exponential growth of power once you hit like the last few ranks of your item upgrades. It certainly wasn't like a nice smooth linear power creep. Once you dinged 70 in Mop Remix, it was kind of busted. It wasn't until you really pushed like 50 item levels above everything else that it really like took off. People don't remember it in this level of detail. People just remember that, oh yeah, they played Remix and they got powerful and they did it quickly. Well, you did it because you probably played for 60 hours in the first week, which isn't natural game design. So I don't. My hope is that Blizzard are paying attention, but my hope is that they're not completely disregarding all of this "we feel weak" kind of comments, because there is still a lot of truth to it. That the scaling is completely off in Legion Remix compared to Mop. But it is just a tuning thing, mostly. If they tweak the numbers, they can get it right. Narissa stated she finished the Eye of Ajara solo within 10 minutes. I called doo-doo. Yeah, I'm not convinced that that's a thing. I'm not convinced that's a thing, honestly. Especially since she was also stating only a few days ago that she'd barely dinged level 80. Now, unless she's playing a class that for somehow, for some reason, gets a I don't know, incredible levels of synergy. I think she plays Warlock. I think she's a Warlock main. So I don't know, maybe popping an imp army and just blowing a boss up or something, I don't know, but... Yeah, my 620 BM Hunter gets stomped. Yeah, I mean, I can't even take down a single boss in a normal dungeon with my character, so I don't see that being a thing. And this is the problem, right? This is the problem. Like, so much of the feedback, you like, is that, like, what info are you missing from here? I'm always a little bit sus. And if I'm sus, you bet your ass Blizzard is also sus. Do we want to spend 1,000 gold on that old school inscription recipe? Yeah, go on in. Barbaric belt, 7.5k. Old classic. Classic leatherworking. I really don't think... I mean, we'll flip it. We'll flip it. What's going on here? Why can this character not see the vendors all of a sudden? What's going on here? You watch it launch with the same issues it has now. Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked, honestly. Like I mentioned to you yesterday, my feeling is that it's just far too close to release. It's far too close to the release of it for all of these issues to be addressed. It's the common well, our belief is that October the 7th is when it goes live, which means they've literally got like 5-6 weeks to get it sorted. And I don't think in 5-6 weeks they'll get it sorted, because I think there's quite a lot of work that needs to be done with it to make it a finished product, especially because it's not a case of make a change, publish a change. With balancing, you have to tweak the numbers, go out and test it, tweak the numbers again, go out and test it, tweak the numbers again, go out and test it, you know? I'm sure they can simulate shit internally, but it still doesn't change the fact that it feels so broken right now that it will take a couple of passes to get it right. And I don't know how they're just magically going to, in 5 minutes, do that. And like I've mentioned with Remix, it feels like there's actually some almost deeper level system changes that need addressing. Ooh, Science. Now, I don't have warband access. I need to get these to their caged versions rather than them being the actual learn the pet versions. Okay, I will fix that on whichever account has warband access and pet access. Oh, another gopher. Kind of forgot I had gophers dotting about. Why have they not been listed? That's another question. Maybe they're too cheap on these realms. They need redistribution. Oh, 642 gold plated. Must be newly acquired. Yeah, my suspicion is that the PTR for Remix will probably go down. And I'm not convinced, other than maybe like they did last time, like a 48-hour weekend mini event thing, I'm not convinced it will come back up before they launch it. The irony being is that if you get an awful lot of negative feedback when you first put something out there, there's a strong chance they just won't give it back to us until they launch it now. Because they often only want the feedback when it's positive feedback. Unfortunately, remember how addicted I was to Panda Remix? Because almost every activity gave me power and there was 0 time gating. Caught me by surprise how refreshing it felt. Coming from playing a healer on retail, it was nice to carry the whole raid group with ridiculous DPS. Yeah, this is what a lot of people are saying. A lot of people have fond memories of Mop Remix because it did kind of take them by surprise. It's a good way of putting it, really. And most people with Legion Remix basically want the same game with a new map, right? That's all they want. They just want the same game with a new map. They want the landscape of Legion to go and burn through and the Legion cosmetics to collect. That's literally all they want. Give us the same game with a different map. But Blizzard are changing the game dramatically. And it's kind of nice to see that my initial thoughts on Remix, Legion Remix, have been echoed and shared by others as well. That it's not just me being Mr. Cynical Englishman here. That actually an awful lot of people have shared the same sort of sentiment about it. That it's far too slow to level. There doesn't seem to be the significant power creep. The time gating is going to limit you from getting to that significant power creep. The daily login mobile game simulator aspects of it are not really appreciated in a 90-day game mode. The RNG elements are not really appreciated. Being able to swap your gems in and out, customize your gear, customize the gems. There was periods where you would stack in a bunch of like crit gems to reach your crit cap, for example, and then you'd spam verse in the rest of them. And then once you naturally gain more threads to hit that crit cap naturally, you regem your gear to like solo to focus it on verse. It meant that as you leveled up, you could tweak with it and keep your power tippity top, and your gearing and your gemming process was different at those different stages of gearing. Made it interesting. Made it actually a game. None of that's going to be a thing if they don't implement the gem system again and just make all gear having flat percentage increases to secondary stats is really boring. Really boring. It means you might have a really high item level piece that has like crit percentage verse, but if you're trying to keep your mastery stacked up, then you'll keep a piece of gear that has plus 15% mastery, not because it's just not as fun the way that they've made the gear in Remix right now. Way less deterministic on how you can build your character out. I want more of these waterlogged recipes. I don't even know what they flipping are. I don't think I want to spend 40,000 gold on some of those either. Got the dentist in an hour, so nervous. Welcome in, Lady Daisy. Don't stress too much, or try not to stress too much. I don't like the dentist either, so I feel you. I really don't like the dentist. Not many deals on these realms. There's no way that a Sword of the Night Sky is worth 20k. No way. Yeah, absolutely no way. Broken Blade of the Heroes, 68k. Collectors do collect stuff. GG. Love those kind of sales. Love those sales. The fact that these aren't being listed is leaving me with questions. Unless I've just acquired these. Oh yeah, see these damn things again. These are another scenario where I've got the item in their companion form. I need it in its caged form. Need to fix those. Oh, doesn't look like there's much going in the guild from here. Big iron fishing pole. Why the Christ did I buy this? I'm pretty sure that's a vendor item. Lapse of concentration there, probably. Three terrible turnips. Okay. Oh no, give me back me box. I wasn't done with you. Hey. I haven't played the PTR, but isn't swapping a gem or swapping a piece of gear kind of the same? Maybe I'm not understanding it correctly. Well, the issue is you are leveling up, or you are the more you play, the higher your item level rises, and so you're going to obviously want to push to have the highest item level gear so you're strong as possible. But it is entirely possible now for you to get gear that is much higher item level than what you currently have equipped, but because the higher item level gear does not have the traits attached to it that synergize well with your class, that you're opting to use lower item level gear because it has the right traits on it. Whereas a gem system would mean that you could always keep your highest item level pieces of gear in place and you could just re-put the right gems in them, you know? It's more of a being able to keep on top of stuff. Throughout the leveling process, for example, it was not uncommon for people to have jewelry slots like 100 item levels lower than what the rest of their gear was because the traits are fixed on the jewelry. They've also made the jewelry even less impactful now because they suspect that players are going to do exactly that. They've taken main stat off the jewelry items, so it's going to be very plausible that you're going to have significantly lower item level jewelry. It's just not a very nice system. Having fixed traits on jewelry it just doesn't feel. It seems like a very big step backwards from just having gems that you level up the gems and you level up your gear and you put your best gems in your best gear. Done, right? It's a system that worked perfectly fine in Remix. It seems backwards to have like hard coded the traits into the pieces of gear. Isn't there a gear cap though? So at some point it's the same. True, but then you're also going to end up with, because the concept of doing Mythic Plus, of doing the raid, of you'll have some traits that will work better for when you're solo. Some traits on the artifact weapon are focused towards you being in group content, e.g. doing the Mythic Plus. This is going to mean that you end up with multiple sets of gear rather than just a set of gear and swapping the gems around. It's just not as fluid. It's a clear step backwards from what we had in Remix already. It doesn't make that much sense to have taken that system out. I don't know what benefit they've added by taking the system away. That makes sense. You're right, we will gear cap at some point. And unfortunately, we might have multiple levels of gear capping if they continue to add the phases in. Every week your item level might rise, and then you have to replace everything again, and then instead of being able to quickly replace your gear when they release a new phase to the new item level and put your gems in it, you're going to be playing the RNG lottery again of, oh, now I need to farm like the right jewelry again, and you're going to have to do that every 2 weeks. So it's just not going to feel anywhere near as fun to do that, honestly. Look how much people hate grinding out the same trinket in retail from one patch, from one season to another season. You know, they'll spam 20 Mythic Plus dungeons to get the right trinket, and then next season they have to do it again, and that's on a 6-month cycle. Imagine having to do that every 2 weeks during Remix, which is meant to be a fun mini-game thing. People are just not going to like it. It's quite clear. Seems like quite an obvious sort of step backwards, in my opinion. For no real reason. Plate shoulders. Can always flip plate shoulders. 75 gold recipes? Yes, please. 100 gold recipes. Require you to do PvP to get them. Easy flip. Especially when people come along and buy the set. Nat Pagel's Guide to Extreme Angling. Does this even exist anymore? Bloody hell. Apparently it does. That's old school. Necklace of Most Beautiful Shells. That absolutely screams RP Realm level funny business. I don't know enough about that to get into that. We sold Schnarly. In Pandaria, we had a bag of gems. Now we have a bag of gear. I see the difference, but it seems small to me. I mean, it might play out and be completely fine. But whereas you would have a bag of gems, you might now end up with multiple sets of jewelry for doing different things. So I don't know. Maybe I'm making a mountain of a molehill. But it doesn't feel as if you are in, it's people like deterministic gearing. People are not necessarily the biggest fan of RNG. And you could just, you could just be farming the content and you could just not get you could just not get your necklace that has the right traits on it, for example. And that's just going to be really annoying for people. Yes, once you've farmed them up and you've got them, and then you have multiple sets of gear potentially, you've got them, and it is then just changing gems for gear. But the fact is that every 2 weeks you're likely to have to re-grind out all of that gear again to get the traits on it that you want, which is kind of a little bit random and a little bit annoying. Whereas if you just had the gems, you could unsocket and socket the gems into your new higher level tier gear and, be on your merry way. It's why, it's why we have gems in retail, really, isn't it? It means you can put the secondary stats in that gear that you choose to put in it, or in remix terms, the traits from the artifact weapon that you want to use. What about just leveling multiple toons and collecting the transmog? There's going to be a lot of that in Remix, for sure. There's going to be a lot of that. That does bring me neatly to the next point, that the speed of which you level seems very low. Once again, compared to Remix, which was an acceptable speed the first time you did it, and then sped up the more times you did do it. It wasn't uncommon for people to have like 250% bonus XP once they'd leveled a few characters. Whereas you are running around fighting for like 30, 40, 50% in Legion Remix as it stands. And that's only if you are actually going around and like fully lore mastering the entire zone. I look at it from the perspective of that Legion Remix has to be faster, right? In theory, they're trying to jam. They're jamming an entire expansion's worth of content into a 90-day window. Now, that original expansion was, you know, when you consider all of the quests, all of the zones, all of the campaign, and all of this sort of stuff, was stretched over a 2-year period initially. They want you to go and do all of that again in a 90-day window. You bet your ass it better be faster. It's got to be a multiple faster. Now, of course, when it was original, you weren't, you know, doing everything once. Like most MMOs, we end up doing the same thing 10 times over. But even still, it was still 2 years worth of content that they're trying to cram into 90 days. So it just logically has to be faster, right? And Legion Remix actually feels slower than what retail is right now in terms of progression. Which is why it needs aggressively tuning. Cologne bottle? Right, I don't know why I bought that.
I see you. I see you.
Oh, I have a Nat Pagel's Guide to Extreme Angling already. I must have bought one the other day. Notice the value of gems tanking big time? Possibly. I've not looked personally myself, but I'll trust you. Not of great surprise. Plus, I would also say that gems tend to, much like enchants, flasks, potions, all of that sort of stuff, they tend to dip. They tend to dip early in the week and then get jacked back up for reset. That's pretty common of a pattern. Even just day trading on them is not out. I mean, there's probably a 20%, 30% swing in price across the entire week between their lowest point and their highest point. Most commodity items live by similar rules. Monday, Tuesday prices are often very cheap on actual crafted goods because the market is being held down almost deliberately. And then the walls get removed on reset day and the price gets reset and people sell at that higher price before pushing it all back down again on Thursday. What's a grizzly jerkin? Guess for 150 gold, we'll worry about it later. Nope. A fox kit. That's pretty cheap. Shadowbog hopper. 200 gold for a pet that we can probably flip for 10k. Igneous Flameling. Sure. Few pets on that realm. Oh, these lost currency mails. Gonna be hella annoying. God, I do wish putting stuff in the guild bank was quicker though. I think one of my biggest wishes for Midnight has to be multi-account usage of the war bank. That would make my day. That would, in fact, no, that wouldn't make my day. That would make my week and almost my entire year. That would, being able to access the war bank on all of my accounts at the same time would be absolutely wonderful. You still going to play Legion Remix? I absolutely hope to. I really hope to. Like, my best hopes and wishes are that they can make it as fun as Mop Remix was. I really don't want to see them, you know. I don't want to see them fumble the ball. But if they screw it up and they aggressively timegate it, we'll have to see what happens. I know what happens to me when they timegate content. I'll play it a bit and then I'll hit that wall and then I'll put it down and might not ever go back to it. I'm hoping that doesn't happen. I have enchants with over 100% profit margin, but my jewel crafting gem cutter had most in the red and the highest is only 6%. Well, concentration doesn't, although jewel crafting is still one of the better professions, it's still not even remotely near, it's still not even remotely near the profit margins that enchanting has with concentration. But for non-concentration crafts, jewel crafting is, yeah, going to be redlining most of the time. Does feel like there's uncertainty within Blizzard. I mean, you can't slash half of your social media and marketing team a month before an announcement of an expansion and then expect things to go smoothly. This is the problem. Thinking about it also, if you're a Blizzard dev this Christmas, oof, you're gonna be in crunch mode over the festive period, which nobody likes. Nobody likes. Which, yeah, you got to feel for the current Blizzard team, the ones who have made it. They're going to have a very busy few months for sure. So it's not. Feedback has to be carefully directed, I think. You know, remembering the fact that there is human beings the other side of the table, but you're not wrong. It does feel like there's been a shake-up and they're trying to figure shit out. Got a flipping blue skull on it. The fact it's got a stupid blue skull on it means it probably does sell. And a specific red bow that's clearly Blood Elf themed. I think I want to pay 13,000 gold for it though, do I? Ah, fuck, it's only gold. Worry about it next time. Ha, another one. Damn. Oh, for 34,000 gold this time. I think we'll leave that one there. Ha, and another one for 40k. Clear shenanigans going on this one, but it's red and it's Blood Elf themed, which is probably why there's a run on them. Storm Wing Tail Tip. Not spending that on a trinket. Runic Cane. I don't know what that looks like. We'll look at that in a minute. Not very impressive, is it? I've had one before. No, I'm not. I'm not biting on that one. That one feels bait. Weed those out that don't burn for game development, clever management. Yeah, it's going to be a tough Christmas festive period for Blizzard devs. There's no doubt about that. The amount that's going to be going on over this period is kind of wild. With, you know, the natural crunch in the run up before an expansion release, stacked on top of housing going live, stacked on top of, you know, the beta, stacked on top of Christmas. It's gonna be pretty wild. Do you know of an add-on that displays whether an item has a unique appearance or only shares it with one other thing? Well, all the things will do exactly that. It's not quite as specific as what you're asking, but it will tell you what an item shares its appearance with. All the things is quite a big, fat, chunky, heavy add-on. So you can see here, for example, an item, it will show ATT zone, Kazongar, Karesh, zone drop, leather, and then underneath it, it will show you the items that share its appearance. So this item, for example, is a shared appearance across 2 different items. And you'll get that info on like every BOE. This one, for example, a worn Shadow Guard Cleaver, shares its appearance with lots of other things. ATT is a gateway drug, you have been warned. That is also very true. Big old gateway drug for sure.
Cartels are always hiring temp workers to pick up odd jobs. See if you can lend a hand.
Was this realm not finding anything? BlackRock server. Seen some success on the BlackRock server, I'm pretty sure of it. German realm, I think. How do you enable the check mark, the cross on the items in your bags? That's called an add-on. What's it called? Can I mog it? I think. Is what puts that little symbol there. Tell you whether you have the appearance or not.
I see you.
Banshee Rod of the Aurora. Super low seller, but for 5 gold, we'll throw it away even if it's shit. 75 gold recipes, love those. For reference, when I say 75 gold recipes, love those, that's because if there is not one listed on the auction house, the default listing price is 75 gold. So for people that get these recipes, probably via doing PvP, and they're not represented on their server at all, often post them for 75 gold, and you can come along and snag them, and they're relatively easy flips. The alternative is somebody comes along and says 75 gold is too cheap, but still doesn't really know what they should list them for, and then they pick a number like 500 gold, and I come along and say, yeah, 500 gold, especially for this expansion's recipe. We will take that, please. Thank you very much. So I end up buying quite a lot of recipes for cheap on smaller servers. We are not getting suckered into that one. Vesterot Striders of the Quick Blade. Once again, couldn't tell you if it's worth anything, but for 30 gold, we'll take a risk and worry about it later. Not really a risk for 30 gold, is it? Oh, what do we sell here? Archetype of archetype. Protoform synthesis pet from Zerith Mortis, the End of Shadowlands. Surprising how well these things still sell, you know. Oh, and a Mechanica in there, I can see. Yoink. This wasn't really a planned mailbox opening session, per se. But because I'm trying to organise all of this random ass stuff I've bought recently into into my TSM groups and to also redistribute it to realms where it may have a better chance of selling. I'm having to empty my mailbox anyway. Hang on, what the hell is that? A Banshee rod? Oh. Oh yeah, okay, sure. Garn Night Howl. Oh dear. Mounts do sell, but it's a cheap one. All this 597 gear not selling on this realm. Interesting. Odd that that's not being listed here. Oh, another 649 piece of gear. These have got some pretty spicy prices on them right now. Okay, I've nearly filmed 2 tabs of the guild with stuff already that needs sorting and organising. I might not be able to go through all of the characters in one go. Did you get the 720 gun crafted this week? Yes, yes. It's interesting actually. Having crafted a much higher item level weapon only counteracted the fact that I lost my 4-set bonus from Season 2. So my DPS hasn't really changed. It's just been sort of shuffled around. Instead of the damage coming from my set bonus, it's now coming from just having a bigger weapon. But then that means obviously we'll take a big jump in DPS once we get the 4-set from Season 3. It was kind of like 2 steps backwards, 2 steps forward, just in a different area. But yeah, our item level jumped by about 10 this week. Yeah, our damage didn't really go anywhere. Our actual damage output barely moved. To be fair, I haven't re-gemmed or enchanted a lot of my gear either, so there's probably some lost performance there, but I'll faff around with all of that once we got most of the gear in place. It's going to be half Spark week this reset, isn't it? It's not going to be till next week we can craft something else. I'm going to need until next week to get the Gilded Crests anyway to craft something else. Next week, yeah, we might not get our 4-set bonus this coming reset, but next reset, we should take a bit of a... We should be almost guaranteed our 4-set bonus next reset if we don't get it this reset, because we can be a bit more selective with our vault. This might be the last week that I push all 8 delves to get the 3 options in the vault. From that point on, I might just step it down to only doing 4 a week to get the first 2. Doubling the amount of delves for only 1 extra option. And it's, you know, there's value in it, but the question is can I be bothered? Remedial Mace of the Fire Flash. Sale info on it. Ooh, 357. That means it's going to have a really high auction listing value. Something that might only sell for 10k. We'll give it a go. Uncanny gear, wormholes, which are crafted. We'll leave those. Nothing there. Dead Realm. 75 gold recipes. Flawless amethyst bauble worm for 120k. 10,000 polished pet charms. Do we want to pay 100? What's that? 120 gold per polished pet charm? I don't think we do. Not on a flip. Even though the value of these has risen significantly since Shadowlands, they're still... They still do turn up from time to time at like 50, 60k. So I don't think I'm too bothered. That's a lot of gold to dump into something that I don't think could flip very quickly.
I see you.
So we might leave that one alone. Let's sort out the inventories on these dudes. Oh, we nearly need to start. I bought a Looterang. Did I really? Maybe I didn't buy that. Maybe I had that from somewhere else. On this 597 gear not being listed on these realms is kind of surprising to me. I wonder if I've got it grouped up wrong. Or whether it's just a bad realm for this stuff. Did your puppy cam catch the puppy? Should be right there. She's awake at least. What's she nomming? Piece of cardboard. Written out my bears. Rather you be nomming a piece of cardboard than cable. Oh, 603 lamplighter piece of gear. These are the lamplighter set's an interesting one, you know. Frustrating as all hell to get, and is actually being market-wide controlled, I feel. I've had quite some success flipping lamplighter gear already. Another stylish black shirt. I think I sold one of those not so long ago. Literally maybe even today. Been weaning myself off add-ons that are up for execution. Hekelian threat plates hits the hardest, as threat plates gives the question mark over quest mobs, and I have 41 level 80s and can't be bothered to learn more. I'd probably do the same, but I think I'll just wait until... Well, the reality is their attempt to nuke these add-ons is mostly by proxy of them just adding a base version of it into the game that is going to be reasonably good enough for most people to not bother with the add-on. I don't think they're ever going to go to the degree of, like, actually nuking the add-on. They're just going to severely limit the need for players to use it, if that makes sense. I don't think they're going to get to the point where they're saying, weak auras is banned. I think they're just going to, you know... Their goal here is to make sure that the base game is good enough that there is less reason for you to need that sort of stuff. In theory, at least, anyway. Whether it works in practice, we'll have to see. Siv, my man, welcome in. Good morning, good morning. Thank you very much for the raid. Hope you finished your stream well. I was highly impressed with your transmog knowledge earlier. Of what rares drop from what and having toons camping them every day. Very clever. Very clever. Thank you for stopping by. If you have to raid and run, I appreciate. I understand. I get hungry when I finish my stream, and so I'm usually off like lightning. Mr. Norton, how are you doing? Welcome in. Good morning. Saying hi, back to work. Don't work too hard. It's bad for you. I mean, the one button rotation is, even though you're kind of sacrificed, there's what, like 20% GCD debuff on it, and it doesn't do your cooldowns and stuff. For casual content, I mean, the flipping one button macro is just god tier, isn't it, really, at the moment? But just casually, mindlessly playing the game. Sure, it's not going to stack up if you're doing high end or you're pushing content, but it's that alone has probably put a big dent into something like Keely's downloads. But like I said, I'm not sure they'll ever make it so that those add-ons just cease to be able to function. I don't think that's really their intention. They're not out there to make enemies, I think, but they are out there to try and make sure that their default offering is better. Which is fair. One silver damage necklace. They often can be easy flips. What the hell is a sleeping murloc? Unique item? No, leave it the hell alone. 75 gold recipe, yes please. And random ass uncanny gear. Somebody out there has crafted a huge amount of these uncanny combat mail legs of the something and has distributed them across all of their realms. And they're popping up on my sniper scan all day, every day. But I know they're crafted and I know they're making them for less than that. So I'm not going anywhere near them. But somebody's doing their job properly there, which is taking a crafting recipe, syndicating it across many realms and pricing it competitively. So they're probably doing quite well off that, I'd imagine. I'm not getting suckered by it, but I'm quite sure it'll pop up on some other people's snipers and they will get suckered by it. Hang on, I can hear a dog nomming things. Please hold. What's she doing? I'm taking the dog out for a pee. I'll be back in 2 minutes.
The cartels are always hiring temp workers to pick up odd jobs. See if you can lend a hand.
I see you.
Alrighty. Thanks for sticking about, chat. I appreciate it. Poppy has been watered. Dewatered. The only time the one button pisses me off is with the placement spells. That red message with the range thing. I've not tried it on that many classes. So all I know is that it works relatively flawlessly for a BM hunter, which keeps me happy. But yeah, I can definitely see some other classes that have slightly different spells might have some weird interactions with it still. Nothing to go in that bank. See if we can quick fire through these a little bit faster. Just to kind of get to a point where I can tweak the TSM groups, get some of this stock redistributed where it can potentially sell better. Lucky Streak Ring. That's a big one on many servers. Can you explain how you made the UI scale in all the minimized windows properly? Like in my case, when I do it, rather skill panel or chat hovering and just can't see shit. Well, for starters, I would point out that I'm using a 4K monitor. Which, yeah, quite simply having 4 times the pixels of a regular 1080p monitor does make it makes the scaling more manageable. I only stream in 1440p and 1080p. Yeah, I'm actually playing in 4K. There's just a lot more real estate to work with to begin with, which is why the scaling works just nicer. But in terms of how to put the windows where they are, it's just the windows snapping. It's not any like funky wizardry going on. They're just windowed, carefully positioned windows. There's the only one thing I do use is a little bit. It's a tool for Windows called Fancy Zones, and that's only because the default Windows snapping, you can see the variety of different layouts is not ideal unless you are using like exactly 4 accounts or something and you can just have one in each corner. Fancy Zones lets you make custom layout, which I've made for this exact layout, leaving a gap in the corner. Then you just use your Windows shortcuts to move things about and get them in the right place. Doing this on a 1080p monitor is absolutely going to make all the scaling look flipping crooked as hell, though. I think Kchak, for example, is on a 1080p monitor, and you can kind of see how everything's far more blown up in his. I hope they update it. I know they did for the Shadow Priest because it used to Shadow Crash 1 mob, but now it only does 3 or more. Yeah, it'll take them a little bit of time to smooth out the kinks with it for sure. My only concern with the 1-button macro is like it now. Now Blizzard have done it themselves. They've taken on the emphasis of that they have to update it every time they do flipping class changes, which is like, it's going to be somebody's full-time job to make sure this 1-button macro and all the different classes just functions. That is literally a full-time job for one person that Blizzard now has to not fire them because their work isn't deemed important enough. You know, that's the only thing that concerns me. Same with them bringing all of these add-ons into the default UI. They're taking on a really big responsibility to actually keep them all updated. It's one thing to like make it and launch it, but then it's that stacking consistent updates, which, you know, members of the community who have made these add-ons in the past have basically done, you know, a thankless job of doing. Now Blizzard has to do it themselves, otherwise they're going to put themselves in hot water. Widow Burst? What the hell? Shadowlands Alchemy. Oh, I remember that one. I don't think it's quite worth that money. I'm not convinced it's even worth the 15k regional sale average. But the value of it seems to be pretty goddamn rock solid. We'll flip it for more than that. Tome of Illusions. These have done me pretty well historically. Not paying that much for Steel and Grip Gauntlets, that's bait. Great Elixir of Firepower. Real old school recipes. Is this one of the ones that's been reintroduced, maybe? There's a good chance I need that on my actual old school alchemist. In that basis, the basis of the fact I might need that recipe on my alchemist anyway, I'll have it. What the hell are you? Preserve Blue Dragon Scale, Strength Verse, Low Level Trinket. Level 28. 29 Twinks. Are 29 Twinks a thing? I don't think I care about that. It's one of those that's actually almost too cheap. Replica gear is kind of bait. Replica gear is kind of bait, not gonna lie.
The cartels are always
It's the same person selling them, so they clearly know what they're doing. I'm not gonna get suckered by that. What's these? Random ass shoulders. Ah, flip, it's 2,000 gold. Oh, no, is it 2,000 gold? No, there's a shitload of them. I don't want 4 of these, do I? Without knowing what they are or where they come from and why all of a sudden there's 4 of them on one realm. That are seemingly crashing in value. I wonder if this was something that was hella farmed during the recent event. I don't know. I don't know. My market knowledge is failing me here. A 4K monitor and fancy zones. Yeah, I mean that's basically your TLDR, yeah. My software or device doesn't support 2K. Fuck off, Twitch. What? Surely that's not for Twitch to decide, is it? Is that you trying to view the stream in 1440p, or what they're calling 2K, which isn't 2K, but sure. They also haven't rolled out the ability for people to watch the streams in 1440p in a lot of countries still, which is kind of weird to me. Seems weird they've taken the choice to both like let people stream in it, but then also simultaneously not let people watch it in that resolution. Seems kind of odd. But Twitch does make decisions sometimes that absolutely baffles me. On a 4K display. Well, I'm not going to lie. I kind of wanted to skip 1440p entirely. Only because Twitch haven't given me the ability to actually stream in 4K yet is the only reason I'm not. They are rolling that out for testing soon. Soon, TM. And when they do, I'll give it a go. Because, as I mentioned, I do play in 4K on a 4K monitor now, so to stream it in that quality would also be cool for those who can handle it. I don't know if my PC will handle it, especially when multi-streaming to YouTube at the same time, but you don't know if you don't try. I do like my tech, so it'd be kind of cool to give it a go, if nothing else. Technically, I can stream in 4K on Twitch already, but I can only do it at 1080p bitrate, so that's not happening. Absolutely not. It would be fine if I never moved my characters ever. For this sort of stuff, it'd probably be fine, but as soon as we go run a delve, just the image will just turn into dust. Don't want that. Where's this? If I only streamed to YouTube, I could be running it in 4K all day long, GG well played, but it's Twitch that's been a dick about things. And the way I multi-stream, so that I don't completely burn my PC into the ground, I encode the video and I send the same encode to both Twitch and YouTube rather than doing 2 separate encodes. Which means I have to, unfortunately, live by the limitations of the lowest common denominator, which is Twitch. They be stupid. How they can both be market leaders in live streaming and also about 7 years behind in technology is kind of baffling. Let me find this. Find me. Safe. Yeah, it doesn't technically have to be the same on all platforms. For example, if I went the route of having a proper, actual, dedicated streaming PC to do the encoding and streaming, I could send different resolutions to both platforms, but because I'm doing it all on the one PC, I kind of would just burn into the ground otherwise. Not found all that many bargains today so far. I think I had a better we did better yesterday with finding deals.
The cartels are always hiring temp workers to pick up odd jobs. See if
Maybe
you can
people
lend a
aren't
hand.
maybe people aren't relisting their auctions early part of the week, maybe. Or maybe people aren't out there farming. Slimy octopode. That's also isn't that one of the Shadowlands ones as well? Well, we'll have that. Ooh, hello. Stormwing tail tip, random ass low level trinket. Although for 6 gold we'll flip it, but even if we put it in the bin. Nothing there. Ha! Ha! Okay. Okay. I see what's going on here. I see what's going on here. Clearly I'm not the one that's jacking the value up on this one. Mr. K jacks in on this one too. Well, I've had a few of these, but I'm not gonna compete with K-Jack in the same market. There's no point us both. That's why the regional sale average and the market value is high though. He's doing some shenanigans clearly. It's always funny when you spot a familiar name. Killbot 9000. I don't even know what that is. That sounds like a pet, doesn't it? Is it Killbot 9000 a pet? What even is it? More importantly, what did I pay for it? Killbot 9000. It is a battle pet. It's not one that I bought on this realm. Didn't buy it on this. Didn't buy it on this account. Didn't buy. Oh. Wait, what? Lost fight. What? I had tried listing it for a few times on this realm before clearly giving up and then sending it somewhere else. On this account, sorry, not realm. Okay, don't know where that pet came from, but 20k, we'll take it. Oh, no, stop moving. Okay. Set of tunes. My guild is getting very full very quick. Okay. Kazakh, big realm. Chance for some deals on Kazakh. That said, I end up selling nothing on Kazakh because I buy on Kazakh and take it somewhere else. Always means I run out of money. I always run out of money on the big servers. But then I make up for it by selling random stuff on the other realms. And because it all goes in the same pot at the end of the day anyway. Doesn't really matter. You can tell Kazakh's a big server though, because the sniper scan takes forever on this realm as well. Because there's probably 5 times as many auctions listed on Kazakh as there is on some of these other servers. It takes a lot longer for TSM to scan through them. Come back to Kazakh in a minute because that's going to take a second, but let's have a little look on these. No, this is all the generic rubbish that we ignore. What's a pale skinner? One-handed sword. Seems pretty bait value. But for 150 gold, if we sell it for a couple of thousand, it's a win. The rest of this stuff is not of interest. I already decided that these shoulders are a bit bait price, aren't they? Some inns a foot with these, and I don't know what it is. I'll look at that another day. Here we go. Now Kazakh's kicking into full gear. What we got here then? These flipping doom cloaks. These doom cloaks that are ludicrously expensive across the entire region are, surprise, surprise, much cheaper on Kazakh. Still not something I want to pay too much attention to though, without knowing more about it. These are ones that I think have different appearances depending on the item level, or dependent on the mythic, the heroic, the normal, and the LFR versions have different appearances. So you've actually got to be quite careful with which ones you have, and then also putting them in groups and then selling them, you've got to be careful of as well. Too much like hard work for today. Polar cords are crafted. Okay. Interestingly, there's options on Kazakh, but most of it is trash that I don't care about. I don't know what that is. 2k, I'll give it. I'll figure it out later. Oh, we did sell a few things on Kazakh though. Not anything particularly fancy, but you know, gold is gold. Yeah, pretty much anything we actually buy on Kazakh just gets shipped somewhere else. Nothing here is going to stay here. Because everything's going to be cheap here. Oh, nothing to put in that. Jesus, nearly filled a third tab. No. I do still have tab 4 and tab 5 empty. It's fine. Ha! Flipping Shadowgast Greaves. Damn Shadowlands legendaries just won't die. Just won't die. I don't mind though, because they still sell. You failed to break me? Addressy, how are we doing? Welcome in. It's weird how when you share the stream streak, the message doesn't actually go into chat like normal. Which means occasionally I miss them, because unless I'm actually glancing at my Twitch dashboard that's over here, whereas my chat is over here. Right, come on. We've not found any goodies for a while. Need a couple of real cheap deals. A couple of things to get excited by. He's nomming the toy. She's got one of these bone-shaped ropes that she enjoys chewing on right now because of her teeth. Because she's in real Velociraptor mode right now. Absolute Velociraptor mode. Chewing the shit out of everything. Big teethings, yeah. Massive teething. Well, she's not losing her teeth, but like, you know, she's just at that age where she chews the shit out of everything. Nothing there I care about. Unquenchable flame? No way that's 100,000 gold. The Christ is going on with that. What the absolute... Right, well, it's another one of those. It's 100 gold. I put it in the bin if it doesn't sell. What have we got going on here? Crystal Fire Spellstaff of Aurora. Crystal Fire Spellstaff is probably an appearance that would pique people's interest. Once again, it's 300. Oh my god. Crafted? All listed by the same dude. Crystal Fire Spellstaff. Now I'm intrigued. Crystal Fire Spellstaff. Technique. Crystal Fire Spellstaff. Crafted. Simple wood. War paints 100. Oh, so it's WOD crafted. Ugh. How has this one person made so many of these? Oh yeah, it even says there, Warlords crafted. Leveling the profession. Or is it dumping war paints because they can no longer flip cards? Is this Is this the byproduct of them nerfing the cards, that somebody's gone out and they've made just a boatload of these and thrown them all on the auction house? Seems like a lot of hard work for not a lot of return, but I think we can definitely learn to avoid the shit out of that one. I think we can leave that well alone for now. Went looking for puppies last night. Not that I'll get one anytime soon. I will give you the same warning I would give everybody else. Nobody looks at puppies. Nobody just looks at puppies. Nobody has ever gone to look at puppies and not walked away without one. Be very careful. It's happened to me at least 3 times. This tab's full. On to tab number 4. Guys, there's going to be a lot of stuff to add to the TSM profile and then start redistributing. These flipping random ass 362 items need to be made to go away. Right, next ones. Been looking for one for years, but I'm very well aware I want a high energy dog with the physical condition of a snail, so not getting one. Yeah, that's quite the contradiction. Clothing store's gone nuts. Why would anybody want to buy a water-soluble lace trim sheer blouse? Water-soluble. You're talking to the wrong man. You're talking to a man that has not gone near a washing machine in his life. I can read the words, I understand the words, but I have no idea what they mean. Not a clue. I wish you the best of luck either way. Not a clue. Why is it randomly popped up with no flipping fellas on it? Alright, well, you two just use your own then. Treads of Panicked Escape. What are you now? Random old school mythic BOE boots. Probably come with an interesting appearance. Probably part of a set. Probably worth trying to flip for 250 gold. Might get 10k for them. Old school rune cloth bag recipe. I am convinced that they come from a vendor. Semi-convinced they come from a vendor. Why do I think they come from a vendor? They probably do come from a vendor, don't they? Did you consider making a blacklist group? I have considered it, but I haven't. And you're absolutely right. I definitely should, because it would get rid of all of these random ass things that I completely ignore all the time. Yeah, I absolutely should. It's just the case of then putting the items in the blacklist group. Welcome in though, Woo. Welcome, welcome. Black Dragon Scale Leggings. Old school classic recipe. 2,000 gold is quite expensive for an old school recipe, but, you know, YOLO. 4k is too expensive on a flip. Necklace of Most Beautiful Shells. I've seen that pop up a couple of times. And I'm avoiding the replica gear because it feels very bait. Okay. What did we sell here? One of the ancient plans, Gurubashi Crusher. It's a bit annoying to do, but I've been putting in a bit of effort to do it. It cleans up the views a fair bit. Yeah, it will help sort of filter stuff out a little bit, but it's, yeah, like it's one of those, isn't it? It's effort that if I did it, it would make things smoother, but I just haven't got around to it. Runecloth bag is 1 gold 30 in Winter Spring. Yeah, I had a suspicion it was a vendor thing. Seems to have been a good realm for buying recipes. Maybe not the best of realms so far for selling them back out, but right, not many more to go now. Only a handful of realms to do some buying on. How's the blacklist work in the background? Is TSM still checking the item, then deciding no, this will not be displayed? I.e., the time taken for scanning remains the same. Oh yeah, the scan time will still take the same. That's pretty much determined by just how much stuff is on the auction house. Why I mentioned earlier that big realms in the EU, Kazakh is one of the biggest realms, and it also means that the sniper scan takes the longest because it's simply scanning through just a bigger list. In terms of blacklisting stuff, yeah, like Wu said, you're just putting stuff in a group and then removing a sniper operation from it. So when it finds it, it basically filters it out automatically.
The cartels are always hiring temp workers to...
Hang on, all of this has gone horribly wrong. Half of these are in a group somehow. How did that happen? And the next thing is to log on to Rantheus, take all of these items out of the guild bank, make sure that anything within his inventory is then put into a TSM group, and then once that is done, put all of the items then back in to the war bank, not the guild bank. Then I can refilter those items back out to realms that might be able to sell them. Do you use an add-on to invite them all at once? Yes. Wu's recently made a little add-on called Easy Party, which utilizes a community. So you put all of your characters in a community. Now, you don't invite anybody else to this community for reference. It needs to be a private community. Put all your characters in the community, and it basically will invite anybody within that community that's online into your group. Easy Party. Still a little bit buggy, doesn't work perfectly until you press J to refresh the community list once after login. After that, it seems to work fairly well. Yeah, I've noticed I only need to... That's the only thing that is a slight hiccup. But it's still easier to do that than to have to start editing the lure in other people's add-ons to make it work. Why do I do that on this account every time? Flipping Fisher friends keep popping up, you know. Clearly some shenanigans going on with these, you know. I don't know how people are getting that. I don't know where this Kazgarite Fisher friend recipe comes from. There is very, very clear market manipulation of keeping it at 250,000 gold across nearly the entire region, and then very tactically listing them for 100k on a handful of realms so that they pop up in sniper scans. Clear shenanigans going on with this one. And it's not the first time I've spotted it either. It's somebody that's consistent with it. Can't believe how good mining and herbalism is this expansion. I've made at least 100 mil with them. Okay. I'm not the first one to call BS on things, but that seems like a wild exaggeration. Unless you have literally been doing herbalism and mining for like 12 hours a day since the expansion launched. I mean, simple napkin maths tells me that that's either an absolutely ungodly amount of time spent herbing and mining, or you have some serious level of wizardry set up, maybe multi-boxing it or something. Eight hours a day average. Oh, wow. Okay, yeah, there we go then. If you're spending 8 hours a day doing something since the start of the expansion, I can see it, but 100 mil if you make 50k an hour is 2,000 hours. Yeah. Right now you're making 400k a day. You still claim to be making what, like 60k an hour? I mean, each to their own. I mean, that's a level of dedication I do not have. I do not have that level of dedication. Even herbing and mining for 8 hours would drive me to the point of just bananas. I do not deal well with highly repetitive tasks like that. Need something a little bit more stimulating personally, but... Oh my god, there's a lot of trash that's not being listed here. Oh, Dentag, twinned with Taran Mill. Yeah, no wonder we're not selling on this realm. This is a buy realm again. Though I must have sold a few things over here to have the gold that I do here. Especially since after clearly buying a bunch of stuff on this realm as well. Ooh, 649 appearance. 649 piece of gear. That's got value somewhere for sure. $50 to $60k an hour. Are herbs and ore even worth enough individually to get anywhere near those sorts of values? You equally must be also gathering quite literally thousands of herbs and ore in total per hour to sum up to 50k. I don't know. I'm not convinced there's 50 to 60k an hour to be made with herbing and mining right now. But if you are, fair play. Bismuth is at 90 to 100 gold. Is Bismuth gone to the moon or something? What's going on? I'm clearly not paying enough attention to the markets, maybe. Had a bit of a crack with Craft Scan today on stream. It's a pretty good add-on. Some people have been saying it's a bit buggy since 11.2, but generally speaking, yeah, it's a game changer for people who are just lurking, waiting for orders. Absolute game changer.
The cartels are always
I don't know why this is the case, but like one of the things I've always found with farming is that I would almost rather not see the amount of gold I make per hour. I know, so like, it's easy to get a bit of a buzz of like early in the expansion, seeing the fact that you've made 40, 50,000 gold, 60,000 gold in a single hour. But weirdly, and I don't know why this is, I almost prefer to do activities where I don't directly see the amount of gold I make. Which is hence why I like, you know, flipping. I've, for the most part, liked crafting over the years. Because it's less sort of, I don't know, it's less micromanagey in a way. It's less kind of, you're seeing exactly how much you've achieved in that hour. I don't really think I described that very well, but I much prefer things that maybe require a little bit of upfront effort, but then minimum sort of upkeep long term, for example. Which is, I mean, this whole process of like scanning every server for deals and stuff falls into that category nicely for me. That, you know, any of these items I buy, you know, it's taking me a bit of time to buy them. It takes me a bit of time to organize them. It takes me a bit of time to relist them. But the reality is it's upfront effort that will pay dividends in the long term. Especially if I keep finding 75 gold recipes. Just need to find like a nice cheeky 75 gold elemental lariat recipe. That would be fun, wouldn't it? Because I bet that thing's still worth a few 100,000 gold even now. Crested Scepter. There's no way that's worth that money. There's no way that's worth that money. Does it? What? There's no way that's worth that money. Yeah, there's no way that's worth that money. But there is this kind of, and there has always been this weird kind of magic number of about 30k, where it tends to float. I sort of describe it more so as it tends to float around 10% of a token's value. Slimy Octopode. Didn't I buy a couple of those like earlier today? We sold one on another realm for 15k. There's this magic number of about 10k, sorry, 10% of a token's value. When it comes to farming, if people can make 10% of a token in an hour, they'll just keep doing it. They'll keep doing it and they'll keep doing it and they'll keep doing it. As soon as it dips below that, you start to see a lot of people just get bored with farming and go do something else. The number I used to throw out there was always about 30k, but the logic with that was because the token was 300k. But now the token is slightly rising to like 400k on a regular occurrence in the EU. Feels more like people will go out and do some hard graft for like 40k an hour, but as soon as they get like 15, 20k an hour, they're like, yeah, no thanks, go do something else. Or at least they'll search for something else that could be better. So, I mean, if you've been able to sustain 40, 50,000 gold an hour with herming and mining throughout most of the expansion, I can also sort of understand why you might have done it a lot. Just not for me. Not for me. Wow, loads of stuff that's not being listed here. Holy, look at all the pets. Okay, these need sending somewhere else. Interestingly, not so many of these look to have been bought on this realm. And maybe once upon a time, this realm was good for these, and now they're not. Which is fine. Send them somewhere else. My God, we're on to the 5th tab. It's going to take flipping ages to organise. Oh, nothing there. All right, sure. Cheapest lariats, 850k on the EU. Jesus. Okay, well, the price on that didn't really change, did it? I think there was a period where it went down to like 200k and I still didn't buy one. I think I'm just gonna eternally regret not having that recipe, aren't I? It's gonna be my last final outstanding major meme. I got my long boy now, so we squish that meme. But Manthias not having the elemental lariat is gonna be another one of those. Lol, you a joke. Although there's still flipping Kazolgar recipes I'm not bothered to get. But Dragon Isles, boom. Oh, ha! Combat. Okay, well, that doesn't really matter, does it? But yeah, still don't have this stupid thing. Still don't have this stupid thing. I'll buy one day. One too many beers on a Friday night, and I'll just buy one from somewhere. These dudes are all in the arse end of nowhere, but they do still list and sell things. Paid 1.2 for it, still no regrets. It's yeah, it's likely to end up being like the last jewel crafting recipe in the entire game I'll need. Paid 1.3 on the first day they started dropping, made bank with it. Oh, yeah, I bet. I know people that paid 6-7 million for it and still made a lot of gold off it. It literally was the recipe to have throughout Dragonflight. Weird as that sounds. I just could not be doing with the orders. Oh my God, look at all these recipes I've bought on this realm. These are going to need syndicating out places, aren't they? Well, there's half a guild tab just there. Flipping hell. Why did I buy so many recipes? Seems like Blackhand is the place to go. It's only 420k. Oh, I'm not really interested in getting one, but one day somebody will post it for 75 gold and I'll snag it. One day. Talking of impulse purchases, I was this is completely random. I have ran out of Marmite. Now, as an Englishman who enjoys Marmite, who struggles greatly to find anywhere that sells it because it's about as niche a food as you can possibly imagine. Yet, if my breakfast toast does not have Marmite on it in the morning, my day doesn't start properly. So when I suddenly looked at the bottom of my jar and realised I was out of it, I had to find some. So I did some Googling and I found a website that sells a bunch of British food and they'll send it to you. And I found Marmite and I was like, cool. And then I started looking at a few other things they had and started adding a couple of things to the basket. And about 75 euros later, I was like, oh shit, stop. Ordered it. It's on its way. But yeah, so I'll have a little bit, maybe I'll do a bit of an Manthias's favourite English food unboxing in the next few days when all of that turns up. Flipping 75 euros just trying to buy some damn Marmite. I found some cool things that I forgot existed though. Bisto. No, I didn't buy any Bisto gravy actually. If I want gravy, I tend to make the gravy. The things I want gravy for usually means I've cooked some sort of meat, and if I've cooked meat, I'll just make the gravy. Crimson Combatant Wildercloth Sash. Another basically 75 gold recipe. Ancient Pattern Gurubashi Headdress. That's clearly one of the easier ones to get. But sure. You seem to like recipes, don't I? Oh my god, look at the amount of stuff on this realm. What's going on here? Oh, Silver Moon. Oh, okay. That's why I've got no gold and no... Okay, this is Silver Moon. Cheap but crafted. Bait. Elwyn Lamb. 7.5k's bait. Plundered Tenderizer. Plundered Tenderizing Crusher. Screams. God, I swear I looked at these yesterday. Screams Island Expedition Mog. Absolutely screams Island Expedition Mog. Is it? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's... Plundered Tenderizing Crusher. How you spell tenderizing? Plundered Tenderizing. Oh, of course it's with a Z. BFA. Molten Clay Salvage. Island Expedition. Yeah, Island Expedition. Marmite is just flavoured engine grease. In that case, I like flavoured engine grease. So Marmite worse than orange chocolate? No. Just make a list of buy X, Y, or Z expensive thing on this wish list to make us redeem the coffee beans. Maybe. Battered hilts are still 25k. Yeah, battered hilts make me giggle. Battered hilts make me giggle just how popular they still are. Literally 15 years after they were added to the game. Puppy's asleep again. Puppy's snoozing. Do I have a couple of these to spread around? Flip. I'm almost going to have to do more research on this. Please hold. Please hold. Am I getting absolutely baited on these? $103 of them across the EU. General price at like 60k. So unironically, those ones on Silver Moon are actually a pretty good deal, aren't they? We'll have a few of them. We'll leave one there, only because I've run out of gold. Only because I've run out of gold on Silver Moon. Oh, and I don't even have Warbank access on this character to top myself up. God, flipping getting Warbank access to characters is a pain in the ass. I log you off. How do we do this? Log you off. Log you out. Can I just do a reload? Or do I have to log out, log in? Is a reload enough? Anything with plundered in the title is indeed islands, though. Is that right? Okay. You're doing your best, Posthumous, to keep me off screen, are you? You figured out that that's on a 60-second cooldown, I see. Now log them back in. That should give them warband access. And the camera's up for like 20 seconds. Yeah, you can't maintain a full 100% uptime. That was by design. There we go, topped up with gold. Topped up with gold. I'm actually going to need to repeat that process again now to give this dude warband access again. Because Ranthius is going to need warband access in a second. There is part of the process, which is fixing the TSM group. It will also give this account pet access as well, which I'll need to cage and uncage a few things, I think, as well. I'm not going to have room in the war bank to put all of this stock in there, though. It might take a few shuffles to get this whole process, get all these items redistributed. Get to it later. Warband access isn't too bad as long as you know who has it at the start. But yeah, I got this little weak aura that puts on screen which account has access to the warbank at any given point. Makes keeping track of it at least easier. Alright, these dudes then can deposit stuff in the guild banks. They're going to need to use their own mobile banking. Oh, actually, did I loot the mailbox on these dudes? No. This is literally half a bank tab worth of stuff. Beladar's Bulwark. Why did I buy a whole bunch of these? These have literally ended up being in the bin, price-wise. Let's see if these will cover. Wonder if that's based on the fact that they're now available from a dungeon that was in some sort of rotation all of a sudden, or whether they're farmable in M0. Is that why the market got absolutely flooded with these? Maybe these will be a sell them on next expansion when nobody else is farming Dragonflight stuff. Same with these enchants. These might go into long-term storage. Because, oh, well, maybe we can spread them out now. They just won't sell for a while. Anything of interest here? Nimble Hexweave, Cloak, Warlords Crafted again. Not bothered by Warlords Crafted stuff. Oh well, almost out of points. What a shame. What a shame. You are an interesting character, I'll give you that much. Oh my god, my guild is nearly full. World first problems, though. Sorry, first world problems. World first problems. You know what I mean. Boo-hoo, he's got an entire guild worth of shit to sell. Nightfall Executioner help for 13k. Go on, we take those. You poppers, greetings from New York. Hope you're well. Crazy Trickster, thank you very much. I appreciate it. And so does the puppy. She is fast asleep. She's putting on a show in her sleep now. Genuinely putting on a show, look. She's putting on a show. Hang on, shit. That's the name tag's the right way around. Phone number's on the other side of that name tag, so it's risky business. What a pose. What a pose. Pay me like one of your French girls. Oh, what a pose. She funny. She funny. So, I promise I won't milk my dog for content forever, but puppies don't stay in puppy form for all that long. So for as long as she's in puppy form, I am going to milk it. Right. Maybe one, maybe two more rounds of teams to go. All doggos are puppies. Well, I mean, I know I've got Poppy Cam, but there are two more. One is hiding behind the grey chair at the back there, and the other one is by my feet. There's actually three you can spot. It's just the camera's only pointed at the smallest one right now. Yeah, right time, right place. You might one day catch all three on camera at the same time, but that's rare. How many points for the feet puppy cam? Not enough that you will ever have. Salatap cam. I could do the same thing as I've done with Puppy Cam, but then just like have a picture of Zalatav pop up instead. Any special diet for the dogs? No, their diet's actually pretty simple, pretty straightforward. They get their mostly they just live off their kibble. It's all natural kibble though, so it's chicken breast and vegetables and stuff. It's dried food, but I try to make sure we keep good quality dry food. Wet food goes through them too quickly. So they only really get the wet food so much, like maybe once a week. That's more of a treat than anything else. All natural, and the kibble was found that way in nature. What I'm getting at is it's the more reasonable. So I try and stay far away from like your pedigree chums and your supermarket dog foods, because you have no idea what's in half of that shit. Probably fucking sawdust for all I know. But their diet's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. None of that really appeals to me. Even though this yielding bow of Aurora, some shenanigans going on with it, and that's clearly one of the cheapest prices, but I don't think I want to get into that game. Clearly being a bit manipulated already. Kazalgar leatherworking recipe. Not worth a huge amount anymore, but for 400 gold, we'll flip it for 10 times that. Probably next expansion. Odo hide bag. Oh, that's another one I don't know enough about, but it could so easily come from a vendor. I don't think it does, but is another one that I don't really want to drop 20k on something like that without having much knowledge. Seems overly inflated, but there is at least sales data of it selling at 60k. Nah, still too much for a flip on something of that nature. I'm happy to spend the gold, but we don't need to take too many risks. Went into LFR, looted one mob, got a BOE ring, 675 item level with a socket on it. Somebody whispered, "Can I buy for 5k?" It's 180k on my realm. 675 LFR ring. Jesus. Fair play. I mean, it's probably 180k on your realm, but it could very easily be worth more other places. That's the kind of thing that I can, especially a ring with a socket, I can easily see that being 300-400k somewhere else. Just purely because it's a ring. Actually, let's mark these as trash because these just need to go away. Did I really buy a gigantic bag? I did, but I bought it for 15 gold. Oh, well, in that case, I'll let myself off. Okay. Is that the last team, or is there one more? I think there's one more. Oh, yes, it's my alchemists. Okay, this has definitely taken longer today than I expected it to, but I basically don't do this process more than like maybe once a month, so I don't mind spending a few hours doing it. Collecting up all of the stuff we've bought, making sure it's all part of the TSM profile properly, and then redistributing it to somewhere where it's got a better chance to sell. Bit time consuming, but you don't sell stuff that's sat around in your bags. And most often the stuff I buy on certain realms doesn't then get relisted on that same realm unless I happen to snag the one and only item on that realm. Usually we're buying something to then actually send it somewhere else. Why is this server darker than the others? What's going on there? Had a BOE ring put on the auction house, but no idea if I sold it or accidentally vended it or DE'd it. Do not recall getting the gold from my mailbox. If you use TSM, or probably better still, Journalator, you can always, at least if you remember the name of it, it should track it. Journalator's become a bit of a favourite of mine. Being able to just track everything that happens and to filter it between sort of time periods and stuff as well, even specific realms. Like there's a lot of customization here I like with this. I like this a lot. Is the goblin racial important for thaumaturgy? No, it doesn't make a blind bit of difference. It did at the beginning of the expansion, but then they hotfixed it to make it not matter at all. If you are making a character specifically to put thaumaturgy on them, though, there's no reason to not make a goblin. The way I look at profession racials is if you're making the character, sure, make the right race, but otherwise just don't worry about it. Doesn't make that much difference. Is it expensive to max out the professions to 100 in the War Within? It's... Getting the bar to say 100 is usually not that expensive, but that's only literally one part of the equation with professions in the War Within. That's like literally step one of a multi-step process. So to answer your question directly, no, not really. But you need to be doing a lot more than just getting the bar to say 100. You need to get your profession tools. You need to do your patron orders as regularly as possible to gain knowledge points. There's a lot more you need to do than just make the bar say 100. But yeah, I kind of like Journalator. It allows me to see what's been going on in my in my auction house, and you can obviously with this you can filter. As you can see here, it's tracking all of this random stuff that I'm buying on all of the different realms at the moment, and then tracking all of the things I then sell on a regular basis as well. Tracking all the ins, tracking all the outs. Nice. I do worry about the size of the database this is going to end up storing eventually, but that's a problem for another day. Right, what else have we got here that I might be interested in? Reeves module, bling mode. For starters, why do I have full TSM data for this realm? I shouldn't have full TSM data for this realm. Okay. Oh, that's because this thing is listed on the region-wide auction house. Interesting. Is that the only one of those in existence in the EU then? No way. Okay. Wildly confused there. Dragonel's blacksmithing recipe, sure. No. There was more of those for sale. Somebody posted one for 10% of the value. Sure. Okay. Used. Generator's nice until you switch from the last month to all time. Yeah, that's my issue. Is that I imagine it might just like crunch to a halt eventually. I'm not sure quite how much data I should track in it, to be honest. I know TSM used to get real heavy if you didn't delete like past data. Do wish pets would show up properly in the guild bank as well. That would make things significantly easier. Maybe that's another bug they'll fix soon. Assuming it is a bug. Did pets ever show up properly in a guild bank? Quite sure it's a recent thing that they don't show up properly. Oh, there's nothing to go in there. Alright, fine. Okay, well that was a bit of a lengthy process, but I've now cleaned out all of the toons of stuff that's not being listed on their home realms and of stuff that needs to be put in a TSM group. Now I need to do a little bit of TSM maintenance. My item level is 10 points behind the other healers in my raid team, but my healing is only 1 to 2% on some bosses. I can even outburst them on some damage peaks. I hope you remind your other healers that they suck on a regular basis then. because that's the gamer way of doing things. That is the gamer way to do things. By the way, did you know you suck? Okay, this dude also already has a metric ton of shit to sort. So let's start. Let's fill an inventory. We fill the inventory. We then make sure that every item in the inventory is correctly in a TSM group. And then we put all of the items in the war bank. And we rinse and repeat the program until the war bank is full. When the war bank is full, we go and try and spread it out to the realms that can possibly sell it. This is a process I might save until tomorrow, though. I might wombo combo that with relisting auctions in the first place. It's like /TSM get all. Does that actually work? I think I've tried that before and I don't know if it worked for me, but I'll try that next time. Right, groups. Let's have a look. Let's have a little looky. Oh, not the word all, just a. Oh, you mean, oh yeah, so then anything that's got an A in it. Yeah, pick a vowel. Yeah. Oh, okay, I'm with you. Sorry, I thought you just, that's probably why it didn't work for me. I'm with you. Right. Recipes. One. Recipes, base items. Formula. Pattern. Oh no, don't do this to me. Do we have any pets in here? We don't appear to have any pets in here. Armor and weapons, base group. Not filtered out into other things. Base items, most probably. Base item level, specific item. Yeah, pretty much base item unless it's an 11.1 something or other. Book of Origination, Brackenhide. Oh, that's actually a direct cosmetic. Cosmetics have their own group. Book of Origination, Deep Dwellers Myths. That is the War Within. In fact, they don't want to be in a group anywhere, actually. They just need to be vended. That's sneaky. That's not meant to be there. Expeditionary, that's this expansion. Old School. Mecha Forge, that's this expansion. Old School world droppy stuff. Sword of the Magistrate. Or the Dark Iron treasure chests. Ha! I think Civ was talking about these this morning. Frog Beaters. Thunder Scout Braces is this expansion. And that's a cosmetic. Right, so that lot goes in. Right, so Deep Dweller, Mitts, Earthforged, Expeditionary stuff. Surely, wait, hold up. That goes in there. 11.1 mech forged, which actually annoyingly these are all going to have to be eventually changed from being base item. Sorry, from being specific item to being base item. Item level even, sorry. But that's not a now thing. Okay, well, that's a bag for starters. Rip's last leg. This has been removed from the game and it's a cosmetic. The Diablo event. Okay, that's not even meant to be there. Where is it? Under Scout stuff is 11.0, isn't it? That basically everything. Oh no. Oh no. I broke my TSM. Oh no. Punch the microphone. I didn't mean that. Right, that should be, in theory, everything in the bag within a TSM group now. She's rolled over. She funny. She funny. Ungrouped items in bags. Apparently, I've by base item, but that's fine. They're listed by item level anyway. Right, that lot then goes in the war bank. We've got 228 slots available in the war bank. Is there a move to war bank everything group? Yes. Please don't crash my game. Please don't crash my game. You punch the microphone, you're effectively punching us in the ears. Yeah, I know, that's why I apologise for doing it, but I need to keep the microphone close to the mouth. All of the juicy ASMR. Okay, well, the inventory emptied, which is a good indication that everything was in the TSM group for starters, which is exactly what we want. Now we repeat the process. Actually, I know what Wu said is right, but I have stuff at the end that doesn't want to go in, that I definitely don't want to be taken out. So Wu was right that the get all command would be quicker, but I actually do need to be a little bit more selective because I use the guild for long-term storage on things as well. And actually, you can't take things out the guild that fast anyway. The downside of using a guild, but it does give me extra storage space. I don't have to wrestle with stupid warband access. Does look like we end up buying pretty wide array of what many would consider just utter rubbish. But hopefully, the theory goes is that for every item we flip, we make like 2 or 3 times on our gold. Meaning, eventually, it'll just be a nice steady little income. You open your TSM ledger, set it to DB region sale average just to check how much shit you've gathered. Yeah. Assuming my ledger's keeping track of it all. One thing I'm not sure if I have set up though is TSM tracking all the separate accounts. So it might only show what's on this actual main account. Wow, is that like a perfect fit? Wow, that's literally like I designed it. It's 11 million gold of stuff, but that could very well just be this realm. Have I got 2 Skullflame shields? This is also a scenario where I don't believe it. I've basically stopped using TSM for any sort of data tracking because so frequently do I just not believe it. I can in theory do that on every one of the different accounts though, guess. It might at least have rough numbers. Oh no, because this is tracking stuff in the guild as well. There's going to be a lot of weird cross-pollination, I think. There's likely to be a lot of weird cross-pollination of stuff it's picking up multiple times. I don't know. And these are bind-on pickup stuff, so I don't know why it's got a regional sale average value and all of this sort of stuff. Once again, proving why I completely don't pay any attention to flipping TSM anymore for a lot of stuff. Because it's... Sure, it's kind of fine, but then again, it's kind of not.
I see you.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't even know. I'm not even convinced it's tracking half of the characters properly. Seems to be tracking realms specific to you at the moment, the realm and the guild bank. Yeah, it doesn't seem to be tracking alts, for example, which means all of the numbers are kind of like a little bit, well, just wrong. Honestly, just wrong. The reality is we may never know. As long as the overall graph goes up, then we know we're winning. Right, let's get all of this stuff in a group then. Start by putting stuff in by base item level. We can find all the recipes and stuff for that. Random recipe. Angry Brewfest letter. That is literally just the definition of other, isn't it? That is a miscellaneous item that I have no idea why the fuck I bought it. Same with cologne bottle. Trading post parts. They're at some point going to need their own group because I've bought a few of those. Damaged necklace goes in there as well. Oh, okay. Now we've got new pets turning up that need to be put into caged format. Designs, formula. There you go in the recipes group. Pagel's Guide to Extreme Angling is a definite miscellaneous. Now we've got a whole bunch of random patterns and recipes. Patterns, recipes, plans. Well, that goes in there. Oh, now it's died on me. Shit. Oh, okay. Now it's doing a whoopsie. Even wrestling with TSM is difficult these days, it feels. Flipping haunted leg thing again. Okay, base items, any old Mog stuff. Oh, that is crafted actually. We have a group for crafted stuff, so I try not to accidentally buy it again. World drop. Odd. Cinder cloth. Legs. Demon steel's crafted. Legion world drop. I wonder if there's going to be a huge influx of people farming flipping Legion in the run up to Legion Remix. I can't lie, I've kind of half thought about doing it myself. Going and doing some, quote unquote completing Legion content before Legion Remix, just to keep the bronze count to a minimum. I have very much considered doing that myself. Oh, Island Expedition gear needs its own group, doesn't it, really? Thinking about it. Would it need its own group, or is that just complicating things? Am I ever going to treat Island Expedition gear different to any other random old school mod? Probably not. It goes in the same group. What in the world is going on here? What in the world is going on here? I'm being given stuff. I appreciate being given stuff. The problem is I have 0 inventory space. I can't take it. I genuinely couldn't take it off your hands if I wanted to. I appreciate it, but I haven't got space. Either give me a minute. What even is it? Random item level 5 stuff. Would you help me understand why Laystone ore is a bad investment too? Wait, hang on. I don't understand that mentality. I'd be playing Remix for a few months anyway. Why would I want to play the retail version again just before that? One, well, my perspective on it is that one, I'm not totally sure how much I am going to play Remix. If they are going to time gate the shit out of it, there's a strong chance I won't actually play Remix all that much. And so I might be interested in, I might be very interested in keeping the time commitment down. Yeah, it would still be nice to get all of the stuff, you know? Additionally, if nothing else, just kind of refreshing your memory on what the dungeons are, where you go to do them, this sort of stuff is could be useful. Right, Mech Forged needs to go in 11.1, doesn't it? Mech Forged goes in here, but it goes in based on item level. And apparently it already is. Shimmer Thread. Shimmer Thread was 11.1 as well. It looks like it. Oh, Shimmer Thread wrist wraps need to go in there. Okay, most of this can go. Most of this can go in the wall bank now, I think. Excluding, there is a few items, a few pets that maybe... Oh, we haven't got room for everything either. Right, we'll just move everything to the wall bank regardless. It should leave a few pets in here that I need to turn into pet form. Plus a few other items. By that last wall bank tab. Yeah, now it's kind of looking more useful, isn't it? Yeah, that last tab is kind of looking a little bit more useful. 2.5 mil though. I mean, it's pricey, isn't it? It's pricey. I've just bought a longboy. If I hadn't just bought the longboy, I'd probably consider it. But having just bought a longboy, I'm kind of a little bit like, yeah. Right, what other ones did I need to get into pet form? Oh no, I think that's all of them. Okay. Right, I've still got half an inventory full of stuff, but I'm going to have to move stuff about. I'm being traded this stuff again. What was it? Yoink. Thanks. Don't know what it is, but thanks. Bonkers? Where'd you get these pets from? Who is this? How'd you get the longboy? Did you find it in the black market auction house? I did, yeah. I did. Thank you for the stuff. Lockwood Hunter's bow. Yeah, black market auction house. Gold capped it. 10 mil. GG. Auto cage add-on would help with the pets if you're gonna do a lot of them. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I do. I have used stuff like that before. I'm not doing too much of it right now. Bonkers? Where does bonkers come from? Deanship Claymore. Interesting. Right, I've ran out of space in my warbank anyway, so it's time to redistribute that out. Though, more importantly than anything else, I think I'm actually going to call it there for today, boys and girls. I was keeping it chill today. We got reset day tomorrow. I know we said we'd go do some remix today, and I also said that yesterday, but it turned out this took me longer than I expected to. And at this point in the stream, I don't want to start getting into remix, otherwise I could be there all day. I'll be back tomorrow. Reset day tomorrow. We'll get Vault open. We'll get some delves done tomorrow. We'll try and get our character geared up that little bit more. I'm probably going to take quite a casual approach to gearing my dude this season. There's so many other distractions that are going to turn up from everywhere. So a good amount of this season in between alphas and betas and remixes and housings and stuff will be getting this cross-realm selling business fully functioning. Because this is likely to be the bread and butter for the foreseeable future in terms of just like standard goal-making activity. You know, we'll do some crafting when crafting's good. We'll maybe even do some farming when farming's good. But the generic thing we can do pretty much expansion-wide is doing some flipping. So that's the plans, at least, going forward. Gear hard and then stop when the alpha turns up. Yeah, I don't know when the alpha is going to get here. My suspicion is that pretty much the month of September will probably be the alpha. I guess they will have it up for like 4 or 5 weeks, maybe. Now, I'm not even 100% sure I'll get access to it. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. If I do, great. We'll smash out the alpha. We'll look at whatever we want to look at. If not, we'll keep ourselves busy doing some other stuff. But enjoy the rest of your day, boys and girls. Thank you very much for stopping by. I do appreciate it. Both here on YouTube and, of course, on Twitch. Both locations. I appreciate it a lot. Thank you. Thank you. We'll continue this little operation going forward. Enjoy the rest of your day. Come say hi on Discord. I'll see you next time. Peace. Poppy says goodbye. She's changed position again.